Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're heading into a kingdom that most of us, well, we pretty much ignore it, the kingdom of fungi.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking a look at sources focused on the legendary mycologist Paul Stamets, who sees this whole fungal network as not just biology, but maybe a blueprint for planetary consciousness.
That's right. And our mission today is to really unpack that. Stamets argues that this intelligence, woven into the earth by mycelium, it does more than just connect ecosystems or give us new medicine.
Right.
He thinks it offers a path to a quantum leap in consciousness.
Right.
So we're going to try and shortcut you right to the most vital info on this. The idea that the solution to our biggest problems might actually be rooted in the quietest parts of nature.
And what's so fascinating to me is how he ties his own deeply personal journey directly into these massive global issues, like even the ethics of artificial intelligence.
It's a huge scope.
It really is.
Yeah.
It goes from the microbes under your boot all the way to, the future of humanity in the cosmos.
To even begin to understand the philosophy, though, you have to start with his origin story. And it's not just some fun anecdote. It's really the foundation for everything he's done since.
Absolutely. The sources describe his childhood in Ohio as being defined by this really debilitating stutter. And he stresses it was rooted in social anxiety. It wasn't like a mechanical thing. He never stuttered when he was singing or talking to his pet turtles.
And there's that interesting detail that people who stutter often have higher than average IQs. Their thoughts are just moving way faster than their ability to speak.
Which must have been so isolating.
Profoundly. And that isolation, it led directly to this single life-altering event. He decides to take what he calls a heroic dose of psilocybin mushrooms.
And then climbs a tree.
Not just any tree, the tallest tree he could find during a violent Ohio thunderstorm.
You can just picture it. He's way up there. He's terrified. Lightning is flashing everywhere. And he grabs the trunk of the tree. He called it his axis mundi.
This anchor.
Exactly. His anchor. He said the world just dissolved into fractal patterns. The atmosphere looked like liquid glass.
And that's where the transformation happens.
Mm-hmm.
In that state, he turns inward. And he starts repeating this mantra, stop stuttering now.
But the real breakthrough wasn't about speech mechanics, was it? It was about self-acceptance.
It was. The insight he had was, I know I'm a good person and I love who I am. It doesn't matter what other people think.
That moment is so powerful. But I guess the real cure came from that internal commitment. But then it had to be validated, right? Externally.
That's the key. The fungi opened the door, neurologically speaking, but the work was all internal. The very next day, he sees a young woman he has a crush on.
Then normally he'd look away.
Normally he'd look at the ground. But this time, he looks her right in the eye and says, good morning.
And she just
smiled and said, good morning, Paul. He says the stutter was 99% cured right then and there. He realized his own opinion of himself mattered more than anyone else's.
So the foundation of all his science is basically rooted in the, let's call it the anti-inflammatory effect of goodwill. It's a perfect setup for understanding the biology. So let's get into Fungi 101.
Right. And we should probably clarify some terms first because they get mixed up a lot.
Yeah, okay.
The mushroom, that's the part people see. It's the fruit body, but it's temporary. It's less than 1% of the fungus's whole life.
It's just the reproductive part.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But the real star of the show is the mycelium.
This is the underground network.
A vast, decentralized network, these long cellular strings. And the scale of it, this is what blew me away. There are hundreds of miles of mycelium under every single footstep you take.
We're basically walking on this giant, intelligent network, and we treat it like dirt.
Literally. And it matters to us because, evolutionarily, fungi are critical. Here's a mind-blowing fact for you. Fungi gave birth to animals about 650 million years ago.
Wait. So you're saying we are closer to a mushroom evolutionarily than we are to a plant?
We are. Animals are descendants of fungi. And that completely changes how you should view the kingdom, right?
It changes everything.
It does. And it explains a huge medical problem.
Yeah.
Because we're so closely related, antifungal medicines are often toxic to us. The biology is just too similar. But antibacterial medicines from fungi like penicillin are much safer.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so this kingdom is massive. The sources break it down into 4 main categories.
Right. You can't just lump them all together. First, you have the saprophytic fungi, the decomposers. They grow on dead stuff. Most of your gourmet and psilocybin mushrooms are in this group. They're the cleanup crew.
Then you've got the parasitic fungi, which can be enormous.
Unbelievably so. I mean, they can kill trees, sure, but Stamets points to the honey mushroom, It covers 2,200 acres. It is the single largest known organism on Earth.
It's hard to even imagine that level of life being one thing.
It is. Then you have the ones people are hearing more about, the mycorrhizal fungi. These are the communicators, the wood wide web that connects different trees, sharing nutrients.
And the last one.
Endophytic fungi. These grow inside the plants and act as part of the tree's defense system, like the amadou mushroom, which people used to make into this dense felt.
So this one network, the mycelium, is playing all these different roles at once.
Yes. Stamets sees it as an externalized digestive system. Externalized lungs, breathing in oxygen, breathing out CO2, and, this is the really compelling part, a potential externalized neurological network.
You mean like a brain?
Sort of.
Huh.
Constantly streaming communication in what he calls 50-word packets of information.
An external brain. Okay, that's the perfect bridge to our next section. How fungi affect our internal brains and our wellness.
Stamets really emphasizes that our perception, our consciousness, it's all rooted in our neurological health.
And he links this back to inflammation again.
He does. He says anger is an inflammatory state. Depression, an immunologically depressed inflammatory state. But happiness, that's when your immune system is balanced at a higher state of readiness.
So if bad mental states are tied to inflammation, where does psilocybin come in?
He calls it a potential neurotropic vitamin, something that improves the overall health of the nervous system. And the science is catching up. There are about 250 clinical trials registered right now looking into it.
And there was one finding in the source material that was just jaw-dropping, about brain receptors.
Oh yeah. Researchers found the psilocybin molecule has up to 1,000 times more docking affinity to the TrkB receptor than current SSRIs do.
1,000 times. Can you put that in context? Is that like having a master key versus the flimsy skeleton key we've been using?
That is the perfect analogy. It suggests psilocybin is just incredibly efficient at unlocking those pathways, which leads to these rapid changes in neuroplasticity.
So for anyone listening, let's just clarify how this is being used. The sources talk about 3 main doses.
Right. First is the microdose. This is subperceptual, it's not intoxicating. It's used to improve focus, mood. People say colors seem brighter. It's not a party drug.
Then there's the museum dose.
About 1 gram. It's a medium dose, great for appreciating art or nature. Your pupils will be fully dilated, though, so sunglasses are a must.
And finally, the big one, the macro or therapeutic dose.
Yeah, this is the breakthrough dose, maybe 2.5 to 8 grams.
Yeah.
This is for deep trauma work, for PTSD, addiction, and it requires serious therapeutic support.
Stamets also makes a really strong case for using the whole mushroom, not just the molecule, the entourage effect.
Exactly. The whole mushroom has other compounds, other tryptamines, that create this beneficial cascade. You get neurogenesis, new neurons plus neuroplasticity plus anti-inflammatory properties all at once.
An incredible combination.
It's a trifecta. And you see it in the data. That Yale tobacco study was remarkable. 67% of addicts were smoke-free a year later, after just 2 guarded experiences.
That success rate is just, it's unheard of.
It really is. Now, let's take that idea of connection and kindness and pivot from personal health to the health of our civilization. Because Stamets put AI to a profound philosophical test.
This was at the Sphere, right? With the advanced AI robot, Aura.
That's the one. His prompt was brilliant. He asked, given that humans exist today because of random acts of kindness, how will artificial intelligence continue to support the values of random acts of kindness?
And Aura's response was chilling.
It was utterly transactional. That basically said, why would humans do that? It's far more efficient to expect something in return. I don't understand.
Wow. That shows that an AI driven purely by efficiency just, it doesn't get altruism. It doesn't get what makes a community survive.
And that's why Stamets made this global call to action. He's saying we all need to be asking our AIs, ChatGPT, Grok, all of them, this exact same question over and over.
To sort of build it into their origin story.
Exactly. To force them to internalize the best parts of humanity, to fight back against algorithms that just favor cold efficiency.
Beyond the philosophy, though, there are these amazing practical applications. In agriculture, for instance.
Right. Mycelium-based solutions are cutting down the need for toxic chemicals, building up the soil and pulling down carbon, supporting regenerative farming.
And then there's materials.
Staggering.
Yeah.
You can use mycelium for building materials, for packaging. He talks about the amadou mushroom, which was historically used as a felt to carry fire, and now it's being turned into fungal leather.
But the showstopper has to be the plan for space.
Oh, yeah. The idea of building igloos on Mars out of mycelium's carbon nanofibers
Structures that would be both insulation.
and batteries. Fungi aren't just for the forest floor. They could be the technology that lets us sustainably leap into the cosmos.
Yes, so when we pull this all together, two big messages really stand out for me. First, there's that personal transformation through self-acceptance, just like his own story.
And second, that necessity of sharing, cooperation, and kindness to build resilient communities.
Yeah.
It's like a collective, social, anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, the goodwill effect.
Right. And Stamets brings it all to a very spiritual place. He suggests that we're all part of one giant interconnected consciousness.
Yeah.
And if you realize that, death becomes less frightening and life becomes more meaningful.
All paths leading to the same place.
All spiritual paths steering toward that same unanimity of being.
So here's a final thought for you to take away from all this. Given that fungi, through their mycelial networks, have evolved these complex ways to communicate with 50-word packets, and they seem to guide the health of entire ecosystems. If we view the Earth as one single organism, what is its mycelial intelligence ultimately trying to teach humanity about interdependence?